Hi there. Thanks for tuning into the Jasmine Star Show, a conversational, deal-it-to-you straight business podcast for creators, dreamers, and hustlers. Yes, friend, just like you. If you're listening to this, you found your people and you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Thank you for being here. In today's episode of a fire Q&A I did after a live class last month, I have to just break it down. This is the first time as a business owner, I taught a live 1-hour class. And then instead of answering questions when somebody would ask, we actually brought people on camera. I had no idea what the questions would be. I had no idea what was going to come on camera, but we made the best of it because these business owners are in all different industries and they ask the best questions. And I had the most fun working with them one-on-one to help solidify their strategy to market their business. Even if you are not in the same industry as they are, underlying business principles apply to us all. So friend, are you ready to listen? Let's go.
Welcome, Carrie. Come on, Queen. Look at that beautiful background.
Excellent. Thank you so much for all your wonderful tips. I'm actually a motivational speaker. I want to know, is it okay to post the same exact content on Instagram and immediately put it right on my Facebook page as well? Or should I be separating and spreading that out a little bit?
It's funny that you bring this up because we just spoke about staggering the content. And there isn't, you will hear me say, there's not a right or wrong. And there's not a good or bad, and there's not a pretty or ugly on social media. You get to determine what is best for your audience. However, studies show that users, what they call platform hop, that if they're on Instagram, they've been there like 20, 25, 30 minutes, they'll go over to Facebook, tap in. If you're posting the same content, and if, for instance, like let's say I follow you and I liked your photo on Instagram and I hop over to Facebook, there's a high likelihood that I'm going to see the exact same post because I was on the platform at the same time. So what we recommend is staggering the content with a clear, distinct strategy of when we post on Tuesday at 8 a.m., where does that appear on Facebook? Where does it appear on LinkedIn? Where does it appear on YouTube if it's a video? And how are we changing the caption to contextualize on the platform? That becomes a game changer.
Awesome. That's really helpful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate you. Thank you for asking your question. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi there. So excited to be here with you, Jasmine. And I just signed up for Social Curator, so I'm really, really excited.
Welcome.
My question for you is, I found you through Amy Porterfield, and I just signed up for her DCA as well, and I'm doing that.
Good.
And it's almost like the last quarter of 2020 seems like the marketing fire hose for me because I also signed up with a marketing coach doing automation of my business. And so here is my quandary and my question. My normal business, so I'm a theta healing practitioner. I help women release limiting beliefs about themselves, do more soul level healing. And so that's my IC for my normal business. And I'm stepping into DCA, launching the course for IT project managers because that's my past that I have transitioned from, helping them with personal mastery. So I have 2 different ICs, and I probably am going to be leveraging LinkedIn for one, Insta and FB for the other. So I'm trying to get my head around how do I integrate, now that I've signed up for Social Curator, into everything that I'm doing. So any insights on that would be great.
Okay, so number one, the insight, just my honest gut intuition is going to tell you, number one, give yourself grace. You're doing a lot right now, like a lot. So if people on the outside are looking at you and being like, how are you doing all the things that you're doing? And I know it feels like you're not moving fast enough or getting enough done. I get that. So from an outsider, I want you to take like 10 deep breaths and say, you're doing great. Like you're doing amazing. And then I would ask, do you have the time and the bandwidth to be creating content for each of your ICA? 2, 1, or none? Where do you think you're at? Because my answer is going to shift depending on that.
So I can see the connection point. My goal is to bring the project managers into personal mastery journey and then converge them into my membership program that I already have for healing and personal development, and then help them transition into theta healing if they're ready for it. So I see this an intersection point for which I can create standard or a common content that I can use across. So that's really where my head is at. So maybe one set of content that can speak to both my audience.
So you're saying that it'll speak to the IT audience and it'll speak to the self-healing audience?
Because I'm looking to open up the IT project managers to look within. The self-mastery is the course I'm looking for. How do they help how do they take control of their workplace stress, home and life balance, looking within, learning to meditate, calmness, peace, emotional awareness, emotional intelligence, and kind of bringing it together with meditation.
So are you going to be focusing on both of them at the same time, or are you building out one niche or the other?
So I'm going to be focusing, DCA launch date that I've promised is February, which means I got to get my act on the social media, list building, everything. And I already have a client base that I'm looking to build and market and expand for the healing practice. So it's going to be both. I'm going to be running on both wheels for a little bit.
Okay. So my gut is it's like a science experiment. When you have two variables, you don't know the variable that is working or causing the reaction or not. So if you can give yourself a little bit of time and space to focus on, I would think, the gateway, and the gateway is going to be IT. It's going to be giving them value and interest, and then you're going to be coupling that with their self-healing. Is like, could you give a little bit of time of creating content just for that, so that there's no variables? It's only, I'm creating content for one ICA, and you could do it for 30 days or 45 days. What did I learn here? What is working? Great. Now let me add a second variable and let me see, am I confusing the audience? Do they want more of this? Do they want less of this? So if you can give yourself a little bit of time, because even if you know that they're going to be a convergence, but if you're testing them both, you actually don't know which one's working and which one's not. And so I would focus on just that for me, 30 to 45 days, take a step back, assess what is working, and then say, okay, now I feel really good about going to Instagram with what I've learned from creating longer form content on LinkedIn.
Okay, makes perfect sense. Thank you. I clearly was guided to be here asking this question because I needed to hear what you had to share. So I am so looking forward to the time with you in Social Curator.
I am so looking forward to seeing you there. Now remember, more than anything, it's not about the social, and it's not about your coach, and it's not about the course. It's like, there's a purpose. Like, you're here and you're doing the work for the purpose. And I feel like other people right now on the call feel it. I feel it. So even if your purpose doesn't adhere to your deadline of February, it will. It will. I believe it will. I believe it will. But in case it doesn't, we're going to give this space to say there's timing and perfection for your purpose to come out when it's supposed to. I appreciate you.
I love that. Thank you so much for saying that. Thank you. Love you.
Much love. Much love. Hola, mi amor. How are you?
I'm doing fabulous. Thank you so much for having me on. So my question is, I am a high-performing coach working with women in corporate, and I try so hard to make it sexy and fun because it could be really dry. I would love your input on that.
So what is your number one, like, where do you think your dream customer spends most of her time on social media?
LinkedIn.
Atta girl. I was like, you say LinkedIn, we're already on the right track. So the thing that's going to be super important is on LinkedIn, text is a driver. People on LinkedIn actually do read a lot more than they do on Facebook and Instagram, which works in your favor, Renee, because you're like, Jasmine, I want to make it a little fun. I want to
Yes.
Okay, so then if I were a high-performing corporate coach on LinkedIn, what I would do is, I'm sharing my screen right now, and I'm actually in the BOGO, that bonus issue. So what I would do, because LinkedIn has stories now, right?
Yes.
So let's dive into a bit of the stories. I can put some stories here just to test them. But let's just say I'm a high-performing coach, and I want to start an article on LinkedIn. Okay, let's go into here, because this might ultimately attract my dream customer. You are worth it. And honestly, women in corporate, inherently, they know it. You ain't in the C-suite if you don't know you're worth it. Like, you walk in that room and you tap on that boardroom table and you say, I belong. Now, what I would do in this particular case is use this as a framework, because this is a short caption that would work better on Instagram, but we're going to still follow this same HIC formula, H-I-C, hook. Is there anything you are insecure about when you think about your dream customer as she walks into a boardroom? If your dream customer is a woman of color, now we're playing a entirely different game, because you said hola, and I wonder, are you targeting or catered to brown or black women? Because if you do, is there anything you feel insecure about? Perhaps it's the color of your skin or the length of your hair. For me, it's a whatever you think it is, and this could be like a humble brag. I care more about my clients. I'll answer their phone calls at 10 p.m. at night. Hey, right? Although I struggle with this, you go and you talk about what makes it unique. And then you could say, I see this as a common pattern with some of my coaching clients. They, 1, 2, 3. You list the struggle points that you believe your high-performing corporate executives are struggling with. You go in and guess what? You share everything you know about the solution. You share it all, Renee. You open the kimono and you say, I'm not afraid to give everything away. And people will look at that and be like, wow, I can't believe I just got all of this. Imagine what it would look like and feel like to work with her as a coach. And then what you do, here we have it. We have the CTA, the call to action. What are you insecure about and how do you overcome it? And then you could put a little caveat. Ladies, let's be real. Let's have honest and candid conversations so that we can move the needle. So together in the corporate world, we break all glass ceilings together. That's an article that I think could really get some traction and showcase who you are.
Preach. Yes. Thank you. Gracias.
De nada. Mucho amor. I hope you have a great day. Thank you, Renee. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Nzinga, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks.
Now tell me, how do I pronounce your name?
That was pretty good. Nzinga.
Nzinga. That's beautiful. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Love your bubbly personality. I have a business coach, and I just finished creating my ideal client, and then which I'm going to flesh out some more, and then my content buckets, 4 content buckets. This was part of a workshop, and so and then we also did this whole framework thing where you figure out what is going to be a driver, rather than, like you said, you don't just always just sell directly, but maybe you want to point them to one thing that points them to something else. And so anyway, my deep dive, then I realized, so I have a mocktail business, right? And so, so it's a sorrel drink, Brooklyn Brewed Sorrel. And it, people enjoy it as a mocktail mostly. And I realized that through looking at my sales on Shopify, about a third of my sales are direct to my store, right? And so I figured if I drive up my SEO, then that would probably be a really great thing. Maybe work on the blog more, and have Instagram, maybe not just always point directly to shop, but point them to the blog, and then something like that. So anyway, two things. I'm wondering, how would you kind of suggest using Social Curator to help with building out a blog, and then tag teaming that with IG content? So that's my first question. And then with the algorithm, I'm wondering, what would you suggest? Right now I have Planoly, and I'm wondering, as far as keeping consistent with content, I find scheduling is the best thing for me to do. Would you suggest scheduling it out through something like Planoly or through Creator, that Facebook has designed,
So let's start with the second question. Question first, because it's going to be the lightest lifting. So I'm going to synthesize the question so that it's not just for Nzinga, but it's for any business owner. It's, what tool do I use to schedule my content if I need to schedule my content? And the answer is, there's not a right answer. Some people really like Hootsuite. Some people really like Planoly. And that's fine. You just have to pick one that's going to work for your business. If you like Planoly, awesome. I always recommend trying to use a scheduler that's native to the platform. So if you have a Facebook page for your mocktail business, I would schedule the post on Facebook themselves and not use a third party. Now, Planoly, the only way that you can actually schedule a post on Instagram is if you have a creator account. But creator accounts are traditionally used for influencers so that they can show analytics. And I just don't know if a lot of people need the creator account, because if you can pre-schedule your post on Planoly and then you pre-schedule your post on Facebook and you have them go out, I think that's going to be great. Then what you're basically asking for, now Nzinga is asking for a strategy from, I am going to be using my blog as my main source for SEO. And then she's asking, what do I do with social media? This is a 2-pronged strategy of how Social Curator can help. There's a really good chance that Nzinga probably will not be using a lot of our photos because she has her own product. She has product being used by her people tagging her account on social media. That's called UGC. I'm sorry, UGC, user generated content. So if you have a hashtag, you're going to be able to sift through photos and then repost photos by way of UGC, user generated content. And then chances are you're probably going to have a company photo shoot, right? So you're going to have these product shots. And then you can have a lifestyle photo shoot. God forbid, once we can start like socializing normally with people, is that people having drinks together, right? What you're going to do when it comes to creating your blog content or any form of long form content is the blog is amazing for SEO. So on two forms. So I want you to definitely, if you join Social Curator, definitely check out the January 2020 issue of Social Curator, because we go in there, we focus on stumble upon content and searchable content. Social media is so good for stumble upon. Somebody is searching for the mocktail hashtag and stumbles upon your post. Whoa. But Pinterest and Google, if somebody's looking for mocktail recipes, your blog and your Pinterest should be right at the top. Like, you got to win that game. And social media photos are really great because on your blog post, if you'll notice, if you go to jasminestarblog.com, we have photos that are pinned, that are created long form. You can pin content on Pinterest that looks like it's native to Pinterest. So that type of content is going to be really, really, really good for you to have a two-prong stumble upon, search upon, using social to complement what's going on in SEO.
So are you saying that it's like, for me, maybe the focus would more so be the blog? I am still going to use Instagram because that's where people are posting, like the customers are posting the drink as they're enjoying it, you know, and we do get sales through that. But
I have to tell you that, like, in my gut, and here's the thing, I started my business as a blogger. Like, I'm a blogger's blogger. I still blog to this day 3 to 4 times a week. So know that I love me some blogs. The only way you win the blog game is if somebody knows that they're looking for a mocktail.
Yes.
The amount of growth is going to be from somebody who does not know they're looking for a mocktail and stumbles across one of your stuff on social, on Pinterest or on Instagram, and they're like, dang, I didn't know that this actually existed. You gotta hit them both hard in equal proportion. And if you can do it all on your own, you can hire a virtual assistant for $10 to $12 and you say, hey, boo-boo, here's my long form content, create 3 social posts from it, pull a photo from Social Curator, make it into stories, here's our pre-produced content, find a UGC, that's a strategy for the week.
Okay. That was fast, Jasmine. But
we're gonna send you the replay so you get to watch it in slow motion. Okay.
Thank you.
You're amazing, babe. Thank you. I appreciate it. I hope to see you on the inside of Social Curator. Okay. Going into, I think it's Aleja.
So I have my own brand. It's handbags. And I opened the Instagram a long time ago, but not for my handbags, but my personal account. And since my brand is the same name because I'm a designer, I decide not to open 2 different accounts. So I keep both of them on the same account. So I create both of the contents of like selling my bags, but also my style, my life, my workouts and all that. Do you think that's a good idea or should I keep it separately? I don't know. What do you think?
So we get asked this question a lot on the inside of Social Curator, and our answer is the same. We answer that if the content you are creating ends up creating a sale for your business, definitely keep the content on the same platform. You are telling me, if I hear it correctly, that you are a lifestyle content creator and you sell handbags. Now, if somebody is loving your outfit and you paired it with a handbag and it's not a handbag post, but if you make your morning smoothie and you're like, this is my power smoothie, and in the back, you have a tiny little handbag where you keep your vitamins, and that's part of the shoot, you know what I'm saying? There's a way to incorporate your product and your personality. The answer is yes. Now, if you're saying, Jasmine, I am a professional photographer and I sell handbags, should I have one account? I would kind of be like, I don't know, because the person who wants to hire a photographer might not be the same person who wants to hire a handbag, buy a handbag. So your business in specific, that you have multiple types of content that will actually sell your product, I think it's okay. And I think it's good. And I think it can be very interesting. But that's not our answer across the board.
Okay, and another question. So I speak Spanish and I speak English. Of course, I have a huge accent, but I have customers in different countries that they speak Spanish. Should I create content in both languages, or should I keep it in just one language?
If you don't know the answer quite yet, that's okay, because on the inside of Social Curator, we will walk you through the process. But I have to ask you, does your dream customer speak English or Spanish? Your dream. Then what we suggest is writing the caption first in English and then having it at the bottom in Spanish.
Okay, cool. Well, that's my questions. Thank you so much for your time.
Aleja, thank you so much. I hope to see you on the inside of Social Curator.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
If you enjoyed this Real Talk Q&A, subscribe to The Jasmine Star Show for more content just like this. I'm going to be unapologetic in asking you to subscribe because I love sharing this podcast with you. And the best way for you not to miss a single one of these conversations is by subscribing on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, or wherever you are tuning in from today. So please subscribe. I will be so grateful. And for the people who share the podcast on social media, thank you. I see the tags and I see the comments and I see you working out, driving, cooking, hanging out with your kids. When I get to join your life, it is an honor and it is a privilege. Thank you for allowing me the honor of joining you in your journey. And thank you for sharing that journey openly on social media. Thanks, friend, and I will see you in the next episode.